Hello everybody and welcome to a little Q&A that I said I would do. Thank you all for your questions. We got a few coming in, which was lovely, onto the comments of the video. And obviously this comes off the back of Season 10, where we got promoted into the Football League. We become a professional club and now we have found our way into the Football League, which is absolutely awesome. So we're going to just dive into these questions pretty much at random. I've just snipped them and then I'll put them on the screen as I talk to them and as I answer them. So the first one that I'm going to click at random is this one, which is from Freddie Findlow, is what we're going to go with here. What do you consider your greatest Football Manager achievement? Well, I think my greatest Football Manager achievement is taking Folkestone Invicta to the Champions League final and winning it. It wasn't a Youth Academy save, it wasn't anything like that, but we got a custom database that went all the way down to the Ishman League Southern Premier Division, and we took my local club where I was born, Folkestone Invicta, we took them to the Champions League final. I think that definitely ranks up there. I think I did a save called Command and Conquer where we took NK Zagreb, who are one of the lowest ranked teams in Zagreb in Croatia, from non-league in Croatia. We won the Champions League with them. And of course, FC Maribor, or NK Maribor. We took NK Maribor to the Champions League not once, but twice in two different series, starting from the Slovenian League and getting up to be Champions League winners, which was lovely. So out of all of those, they're all great achievements. They're all things I hold in high regard in Football Manager. Probably is Folkestone Invicta because it started from so low down and it took us so long to get there. It was really good fun. So thank you, Freddie, for your question. The next one comes from Red Eye. Good name. Or actually, it's Red Eye, I think. Red Eye. Congratulations for winning the league. My question, how long does it take you to finish a season, since the rate you churn out these videos is pretty insane? Well, as you can see from the poll I put out, the videos will take a little bit longer to do because I'm getting busier at work and life and things like that. But generally what happened, to finish a season, it took me around about 2.5 days, playing every game, but I put key highlights on. I watched the highlights quite quickly. There's no transfers to do, so that makes the game a hell of a lot quicker. There's no transfers, no scouting. I've set up my training schedules and put them through at the beginning of the year, so there's nothing to manage with that. But yeah, generally, I do my work and I've got Football Manager on in the background and I'm just clicking continue or spacebar and going through it and like praising people when I need to. It's not that difficult. Once you set everything up and you don't need to worry about signings or transfers or sellings or actively offering players out and trying to make money that way, yeah, it goes pretty quick. So I'd say probably like 2.5 to 3 days to get through a season. I generally record a video a day. And if you think we're doing 3 videos per season, which was the start of the season, youth intake, and then the end of the season, I would say that's 3 videos that I record in a day. So 3 videos per season, and I do 1 video per day, so it's about 3 days for a season. That will be slowing down a bit, and we will be doing more videos as we go into the Football League. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Next question comes from KKOK. Congrats with the earned title. Thank you very much. With a squad of quite mixed abilities. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. I hope you get all your good players signed to long-term contracts. We've done that. They've all now got full-time contracts. Spoilers for the next episode. Q&A. Who has been your favourite youth product produced before this save, and for what team was it, etc.? Now, I had, in my NK Maribor Champions League run the first time we did it, I had a youngster that came through the system who was just incredible and stayed with us for ages. Now, I can't remember his name, but he played attacking midfield left and attacking midfield centre. It might have been Hamza Danovic. It was something like that. And he was phenomenal. And then we sold him for something like 80 million, bought him back for like 25 when the AI didn't play him. He was phenomenal. And that was when we had NK Maribor with one of the best youth intakes in, the best youth systems in the game. It was absolutely brilliant to see it come through. Also, I've got a shout out to Sam Leftfoot, if anyone remembers him from NK Maribor, where I actually got a son in the game. He was terrible, but he was left-footed, and his name was Sam. Sam Leftfoot came through the NK Maribor youth system. So I feel like if I didn't mention him, I'd be a bit bad, because I did have a son in the game, a randomly generated son, and it was brilliant. I think someone set up a Twitter account for him as well, which was really good fun. But yeah, it was really good. So I'd say Hamza Danovic, if that's the name, if I'm thinking about that correctly, and Sam Leftfoot. Next question then. Topu Tamadre. Hopefully I'm not butchering your name. Thank you for the question. Congrats on winning the league. For the Q&A, what do I do in real life? In real life, I work for an aerospace company and I'm a manager out here in Singapore. I manage safety critical work and decide where it is done in the world and how quickly it can be done within our global materials department. So I'm a material scientist by trade. That's what I studied at university. I've always liked physics and engineering, and yeah, that's what I do. Thank you for the question. We didn't get many about my personal life, so yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight about what I do. If you want to know more, get in touch. Next up, 1980. Which player do you think will be the one that goes all the way to the Champions League with you? Unfortunately, I don't think any of these players we currently have will go to the Champions League with us. If I could take one and he could progress to that level, it would probably be Scott Lloyd, the goalkeeper. He's just been phenomenal for us since he stepped in as number one, replacing Havetzi. I think he would probably be he'd probably be the player I'd want to come with us, but obviously I don't think he's going to be at the right level. Talon Alpress is another one up front, just scoring goals for fun. He would be good. I think to complete the whole redemption arc and to make him go from villain to hero, Cameron Thorpe would be amazing to go all the way as well. But I don't think any of these players we currently have are going to be good enough to make it from non-league to the Champions League with us. But you never know. You never know. Callum Pledge asks for the Q&A, which Guiseley player are you most surprised about, be it performance or developing? Right, so if we dive into the game, or don't want to give, actually, before we dive into the game, because I don't want to give too much away, I'm just going to go straight to his profile and hopefully not, so this will all be blurred behind you, so you can't see anything about it. But I think probably Malik Priestnall, I think, has surprised me the most because he's not that highly recommended or rated, but he's just been absolutely solid at the back. He's a centre-back that's got first-time shots, which, I mean, is what's there not to love about that. I feel like he's been really, really good. I feel like he's playing much better than his attributes suggest. He came through with decent attributes and the amount of game time he's got has helped. He's now 22, so he's been at the club for like 5-6 years maybe. I don't want to go on a history because it will give things away about how we've been playing this year, although you can probably see it down the bottom. But anyway, yeah, so I'd go with Malik Priestnall has probably been the biggest surprise in terms of what he's done playing, I think. Yeah, to be unambitious and still be in the first team when we're in the Football League, I think Malik Priestnall is... yeah, he would be my pick. So, Hyper Exalted God King Supreme Mega Ultra Dave, who is a member of the Discord, said, excited win in the league. I think going professional is going to really help. Any tips on starting a save like this, bearing in mind that I have little to no knowledge of football and tactics in general? I feel like if you don't have knowledge of tactics, this is probably a very difficult save to get into because I think tactically you've got to be very astute to understand what your players can do, what they can't do, and how you can exploit things you see in the match engine. Now, saying that, you don't have to do that. You can be very different about it. You can just keep asking your assistant, go out and try and get the best assistant. My advice would be definitely play sort of trial and error with training and see what the players like and don't like to a certain level. I think training is crucial. Backroom staff is crucial. Go out and get the best coaches you can, the best sort of personality coaches as well that are helping develop your youngsters is really key. But I feel like if you don't know a hell of a lot around football and tactics in general, I'd say youth academy is probably going to be a bit difficult. But give it a go because it's bloody good fun. And if it fails, you can just start again. That's the rules. If it fails, you can start a new one and try again. And there's no questions asked. But yeah, my advice would be give it a go if you enjoy Football Manager because it's made me think about the game totally differently. And going forward in future series and future games I play, there will be much more focus on young players coming through the youth academy because it's much more realistic. You can't, unless you're Chelsea, it seems, you can't just go out and buy whoever you want. You do have to have some sort of 1 or 2 youth players coming through when they get to 17, 18, 19 years of age. But generally, it's been good fun. I think it would be much tougher if you didn't know much about tactics. Alpha Koff leaves a lovely message which says, I've just watched all this save one after another and I'm really loving the save. It's made me want to play and attempt this too. Loving the videos, can't wait to see where it leads. My question is, what led you to start creating videos on YouTube? In brackets, I'm generally interested. Basically, I was at home back in the UK. When I lived in the UK, we had just bought a house in Bristol and I thought, I've seen... you know, I play this game a lot. I have to give presentations at work. I think I'm quite a well-spoken, as in can bring myself into the camera quite well. I'm not going to be panicked in front of it. And then Football Manager was a game I loved. I've played since Champ Manager 2, so I've always been playing football management games. And I suddenly on YouTube came across other people playing it and put it as videos, and I went, yeah, I can give that a go. Why not? So that's why I did it. I just set up a channel. I thought Cultured Left Foot is a name that suits me because it's nothing how I play football. I'm not cultured. I'm right-footed. I'm a centre-back. I'm a header and hoof it centre-back. I like to tackle people. I like to win headers and pass the ball to better players than me. So I thought the name Cultured Left Foot would be a good name. And I just thought, well, other people are doing videos like this. I could give it a go. And I did. And I started all the way back, years ago now. It's a long time I've been doing this. And it was with the worst financial club in the game, which was Allianz Lima at the time in Peru. And it was Getting Out of the Red is what I think the series was called. I think it's still on YouTube somewhere on this channel. But yeah, that's it. That's why. It was a game I loved playing. I saw other people playing it and putting it on YouTube, and I thought, yeah, I'll give that a go. Let's see how it goes. And then it became a community thing, and people like yourselves, all these people leaving questions and comments, I found it really enjoyable to interact. Then I set up a Discord, and there is a Patreon and things like that. And although I'm not very active on the Patreon, which is a bad thing. And then it just sort of grew into this thing where I could get a green screen and I could get a light to look at me, and I could put an old iPhone as a camera and just keep going like that. And it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. And we went from 0 to 7,500 subscribers. So thank you for asking. Next up then is Tyler Cauldron, who says, would you consider streaming the save? The easy answer to that is no, because generally what is happening is I'm recording videos in advance occasionally. So, and when I get to the weekend, if my wife is out or we don't have plans, or, that it's raining in Singapore, which it can do quite often, I will sit down and play through a season if I get the time, and then record, edit and upload videos so that I'm ahead. So generally it's very hard to stream the save unless without giving away spoilers. So I could have streamed quite a lot of what I've done up to this point, but it would have given away the fact that we had been promoted, because I'd got promoted earlier knowing that we had visitors coming and therefore had to get the videos out. So yeah, I would like to stream this save, but I'm not streaming this save. But if you do want to watch me stream, once a week I am streaming. Hopefully that will go up a little bit as I get a bit forward in the videos. But once a week at the moment, I'm streaming a Newcastle save over on Twitch, twitch.tv/culturedleftfoot. And yeah, come and join us there. It's good fun. I'll try and put out notices. Or you can follow me on Twitter at culturedf. All the links are in the description below. You can follow me there and there's a little notification that goes live, or you can join the Discord and a notification goes live there when there's a video, or we're going streaming. So yeah, I do stream Football Manager, just not this save. Vittorio Bonagiani, I've probably butchered that according that I am part Italian. I'm going to try that again. Vittorio Bongiani. That's what I'm going to go with. I think that sounded a bit professional. I found your channel because of this series. So my question is, how has this performed relative to past saves, and how do you see it? Well, I use something called TubeBuddy, and TubeBuddy gives me analytics and a dashboard that shows how videos are performing compared to other videos that I've released. When is the best time to release it? Now, I don't really pay attention to that because this is a hobby. I do this because I enjoy it and it's fun. And if it makes me a little bit of money with you guys watching adverts, that's great. So be it. How has this performed compared to other series? It has blown every other series I've done out of the water. This is by far the biggest consistently watched series I've ever done. The Pez series that used to be on here were very good and very high performing. They got around about 800 to 900 viewers an episode. These ones are breaking 1,100, 1,200 viewers consistently, with some of them getting to 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, with a couple hitting 2. The first episode of this series has just clicked over, I think, 11,000 views. So it is doing very, very well for a series on my channel, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm very thankful to all of you that watch it, like, comment, and subscribe. So if you've got to this point in the video and you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, go and do all 3. And if you haven't, do whichever one you haven't done yet. There's a little plug for you. Scott Craze asked a great question here. If you could magic up 3 first-teamers in the next youth intake, what position would you wish for? Now, given there'll still be youth players, if I could get 3 5-star potential elite talent youth players, I think I'd go central midfielder, because we lack in central midfield quite heavily in this save, and I asked my central midfielders to do quite a lot of work, so I think having another top class at this level central midfielder to rotate with would be very helpful. I think Mills in there does a lot of hard work in central midfield and doesn't really get a rest, and it's going to be even harder going into the Football League. So I'll definitely say central midfield is number one. I think probably left back. I think a left back would be absolutely crucial in terms. I would love a left back that could play right back and be good at both. But I think left back would be good because we've seen over the years that it's a bit of a struggle to get really good fullbacks. We've got good fullbacks and decent fullbacks, but I think a standout fullback would be good because I do heavily rely on them for chance creation as well. So a central midfielder and a left back. And then the third one, I don't know, it's tough to say because Allpress is scoring goals and I think he will score goals for a while. We've got Thorpe who can play up front as well. We've got really good attacking midfielders, good right wingers in Tony Hogan and Stephen Harris. Good centre-backs, maybe another centre-back. No, a goalkeeper, probably a goalkeeper. Scott Lloyd has been really, really good, but his backup is pretty shocking now. Havetzi, English, and the Scotsman Cole Bryan in the reserve, in the under-18s, are all pretty poor. So if I could pick, I would pick an elite talent in those three positions: central midfielder, left back, and goalkeeper. And if the youth academy gods make it happen at the end of this season, I'll be delighted. In fact, Scott Craze had 2 questions, so we'll go on to his second one straight away. How much have you had to compromise your ideal playing philosophy to achieve success so far? I don't have an ideal playing philosophy, to be honest. I look at the players I have and adapt what I can try and do on the pitch with them, and I utilise player instructions and player traits to my advantage as much as I possibly can. I would suggest that my playing philosophy would be, try and get the ball on the floor, play through midfield. But I've been a manager of football teams. I manage a team here in Singapore. I manage a team in Bristol. And you don't have the players to do that. You don't do that. You suit what you have with the players. And I bring that as a football manager. I'd love this team to be able to play short, tiki-taka passing up the pitch and create wonderful chances for a striker to tap in. But we don't. We play pretty direct. We play over-the-top balls into our pace and see how it works. And generally, it's done all right for us so far, hasn't it? So as we get better, more technical players, potentially there's a way to change that and come a little bit more into a team that controls possession and sort of outpasses the other team. But at the moment, we don't. And I wouldn't say I have a philosophy in Football Manager. I think you just use the best that you have at your disposal. And that's the thing. So, well, I guess, to answer your question, Scott, I am completely going against my philosophy because I said I'd like to play tiki-taka possession, sort of passing up the pitch football to achieve success. So I would say, yes, I've completely gone against my ideal philosophy to get this success. To answer, when I think about it and say it out loud, that's how I'd answer your question. Okay, Kefix up next. He asked a similar question to what we've already had, but we'll stick with it because it's slightly different. What player surprised you the most? Like, who at first didn't look that much but actually been quite well? And also the opposite, who was the most disappointing? Right. I'll quickly keep it all blurred while I go and find the player that I want to get to. Someone that is still in our team at the moment is Nate Ampadu. Nate Ampadu is still here, and I think he would also come under a player that has surprised me the most because I don't think he was very good when he came through. Like, I think he was still, and he's an elite youth intake. Okay, season 1 he was a 4-star, potentially 5-star player, but I thought he'd be someone that gets binned off like pretty quickly. He's not the tallest at 6 foot compared to other centre backs we've got. He's 25. He's been at the club a long time, but he lacks quite a lot of things. Heading isn't good. What else have we got here? Tackling and marking's decent. Passing's poor. Technique is poor. Positioning's good, which helps him out. But work rate, teamwork, all pretty bad. So really slow as well. No, not really a lot of bravery. That's going up after training and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like Nate Ampadu is another one that surprised me. Who has been the most disappointing? It's probably someone I've already released. So let me go and find them. I found him eventually. It took me a bit of time. Job McKenzie is probably the one I was most disappointed with. I was so excited when he came through. He was the first real player we got in with pace. Pace, he was a striker. I got very excited, and he really didn't grow into his potential. As you can see, like 2 seasons when he came through in the youth academy, 18, 11, 2, 0, 0, got released on a free, went back to Guyana, and has been playing very regularly in the goals for his team there. But for us, I think he's probably the one that I was most disappointed with and most gutted that it didn't work out for, because I was so excited when he came through. And I mean, looking at his attributes now, maybe if he'd stayed with us, he probably would have improved a bit more. But yeah, it didn't really work out for them. He was a 4-star, 5-star potential elite youth intake in season 1 as well. But I'd probably say Job McKenzie's the one I was a bit disappointed in. Yeah, and a bit annoyed with. Ben Fitton was another one who had very high potential but had a terrible ethic and a work ethic, and then started complaining, so we just released him on a free. But if I was to give you one, it would be Job McKenzie. I think I'll remember him all the way through this series, probably, because he was the first person I really got excited about in this save. So next question is from Grange Jeremiah. What a game. Congrats on the season. Thank you very much. I'd love to be promoted. Yes, one question. I've noticed since some videos you've always worn a football jersey. The first time it was white with some blue colour. I thought you had bought the Guiseley one. Then I noticed always a different top. So how many do you have? It seems like a nice collection. I don't know how many I have. I've got too many, if you ask my wife, probably. Yeah, I collect football shirts from places I go around the world. Whenever I go somewhere on holiday, I try and find either a local top or their national top and bring it back. The white and blue one that you saw was the national top of Slovenia from about 7 years ago. That's the one I was wearing on that video. But yes, I collect football shirts. I'd say I've got well over 30, I think, just here with me. Yeah, they range from Folkestone Invicta all the way to NK Maribor. I've got those shirts because I've been to the NK Maribor Stadium, so I got a shirt there. I've got Italy shirts because I've been to Italy. I've got a Vietnamese national shirt because I've been to Vietnam. I've got loads, yeah, absolutely loads. And I'll keep trying to wear a different one. Today I've got my Man United shirt on. Today I'll try and wear a different one in every video when I can, but sometimes I'm recording and then I've got to go on work calls, or I'm coming off a work call and I'm in a normal t-shirt. So yeah, I've got loads. Thank you for noticing. But yes, if you want a specific answer, I'll count them up and I can leave it to you in a comment. So let me know on this video if you'd like to exactly know how many I've got. Andrew Neeson brings it back to the Youth Academy Challenge. Which facilities did you prioritise for upgrades and why? I always prioritise youth intake or youth recruitment and junior coaching as the ones, because I feel like they're the biggest ones that have an effect before you bring them into the club. So once they are in the youth intake, that's when you get control and your staff take over. But I think before that, and I think it's before that, junior coaching and youth recruitment are the biggest factors to do what it is, and your head of youth development's personality and his attributes and everything like that. But yeah, so I've always asked for increased junior recruitment and youth knowledge, or whatever it is. I can't remember what the two are. We're going to have a look, because they're right here. Mike Board requests increase youth level is the one I always ask for, and improve youth recruitment are the ones that I've asked for the most in this save, and it's really worked out quite well. Javier Rodriguez says, amazing job. Thank you, Javier. Do you think that some of your players could be useful in League One in the future? If the next season doesn't go very well, will you give the time to the players with more potential, or will you try to develop completely your current team, sort of like the striker, to have a solid base to the next season? I'm expecting us to get relegated this season, and I'm not expecting many of the players to be annoyed by that, because we're going to be basically we're going to be the most probable team to get relegated by the bookies, by reputation, by the players we've got. So it's going to come down to tactics and rotation and getting the players to play well. Could some of these players be useful in League One? Yes, they could. I mean, we're only in League Two right now. If we go up to League One, they're going to have to step up. But I do think there's a couple of players in there that could do a job in League One. We've sold 2 players to League One clubs in Paul Byrne and Matt O'Keefe, and Paul Byrne hasn't been too successful. Matt O'Keefe has done well for the Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon. So, yeah, I think some of these players could do a job in League One. And if we get there, they're going to have to. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one pans out. But let's keep with League Two for now and just try and keep our head above water in League Two. Robert Griffiths asks, in real time, how many hours did it take you to play a single season? I'll probably say about 8. Split over 3 days, as I sort of mentioned before. Maybe 8 or 9 or 10. I'm not sure. I don't really keep count. It feels, yeah, it can take a long time, but the key is, as I said, training, tactics, staff are very key for a youth academy save. Always pester your board for stuff. And play at your own pace. It doesn't have to be quick. Definitely play it at a pace that suits you. I think the more you consider things up front, the quicker you can play the game throughout the season. And again, I play it on off camera. It's key highlights. It's nearly match max speed to just keep up with the ball and see where it's going. And then a bit of a pause and 2D, look at 2D to see tactics and things like that. But generally, I can't. I think it depends on what the season's going like in terms of a single season. But just keep going. Play it to your own pace. There's plenty of time until the next game comes out, Football Manager 24. So yeah, just enjoy it. That's the main thing. And then last but not least, we have Paul Robinson. For the Q&A, what is the advice to be successful in this kind of save? I've tried it a couple of times. I've had a decent under-18 backroom staff. I always seem to choose an overpowered team, then do well in the first couple of seasons. Then I seem to get sacked in the third. Side note, congratulations on the success to the Football League. Thank you very much. I think what's worked well in this save, and this is the first time I'm trying this challenge, and it won't be the last, but it's the first time I'm trying it, is that we haven't got promoted too quickly. So our players have actually had a chance to develop in that league. So, for example, the National League, we were there for 6 seasons, and they developed enough to then go and win the league. I think my worry, for example, here would be if we somehow get promoted from League 2 in the first season and got up to League 1, it's going to be really difficult in that league. But I think I've sort of mentioned it before. The key is staff, tactics, and training. I think training you have to nail. You have to get your players developing the best they can. And again, people ask me, what do I do? I've done trial and error to see what causes the least moaning from players, what gets the best rating from players, what gets the best fitness from players, and things like that as a part-time club. And now I'm doing exactly the same as a full-time club. And I feel like not wanting success quickly will be beneficial. Like, I can remember every year we've been like, right, the aim was to stay up. The aim was to just beat what we did last year. That's always been the aim. It's never been, I want to get promoted this year. It's always been, okay, last year we finished 16th. This year we've just got to finish 15th and it's a better season. Because I think the better you get as a club, the better players you'll produce, which means you'll sell them quicker when they start playing. And that in itself is going to be a challenge that we'll have to deal with in this save. But I think if you're getting good under-18 backroom staff in that have good personalities, you've got half the battle. It's just then getting them to do the right training, going in, sorting out their coaching assignments, and just remembering to praise and discipline players when they play well or play badly, or train well or train badly, and think tactically about it. You saw, I think, if you've watched this series from the beginning, the first videos we did, I watched every game in 2D. I did loads of games in every season like that to make sure the tactics I was asking the team to do were being implemented on the pitch. And the best way to see that is in 2D. And I know it's not the best of viewing, but it is the best to see tactically what you want to do with your defensive line, with your wing backs, with your midfielders. Is someone dropping too deep? Is someone not running where you thought they would? I can't recommend 2D enough to understand the tactics in Football Manager and how what you're trying to implement actually looks like in the game. And that's it. Yeah, thank you for your questions, everybody. That was good. Right, we're going to go and have a little look at where some of the more high-profile players... In fact, if I go into transfers, again, it's all going to stay blurred for you. If I go into transfer history and we go into all transfers... Yes, right, okay. You're in the game. This doesn't give anything away about how we've started the season, the next season, so we're good with this. Okay, we have lots of loans out, but these guys aren't really the big names, are they? We want to go and look at our Matt O'Keefe's, our Paul Burns, and see what's going on. So Matt O'Keefe is at AFC Wimbledon, and there he is. He's still at AFC Wimbledon. He has a transfer value which has gone down a fair amount from what he wants, but he's on £2,900 a week. I think he's getting a good bit of game time. He did in League 1. He's not really getting it in the Championship, but that may not have started yet. But League 1, 27 games, 1 goal, a 6.67. That 85k that we sold him for, looking pretty decent. Non-competitively, he has played 5 games this season. 1 as a starter, 4 as a substitute. No goals, no assists or anything like that. But it does look like he is getting some good, decent game time at AFC Wimbledon. Not improving too much. He's gone up to regional. It'll be interesting. I wonder if we can see... Can we see where he's been playing? Oh no, because they've not played any games, and you can't look at past history. But yeah, Matt O'Keefe is probably a good person to look to start with. 190 games for us, 101 goals, and we sold him on to AFC Wimbledon. So hopefully he goes and has a good career at like League 1, League 2 level. Kyle Trineri, can you remember him, our original goalkeeper? He now plays for Swindon after having a little stint when we sold him over to Chesterfield. Chesterfield got 3 seasons out of him. He played nearly half the games in League 1, conceding 24 after 18 appearances, not playing brilliantly. They didn't go down though, but he's taken a step down to League 2 to play Swindon, so we will be coming up against him when we play Swindon in League 2. But yeah, Kyle Trineri was a player that we sold for a little bit of cash, and he's doing all right, still playing, which is good for him. 34 now. So Paul Byrne, our £100,000 sale, is playing for Fylde. He has had quite the fall from grace, hasn't he? He did really well for us in the National League. Stepped up to MK Dons for £100,000. 13 games, a 6.52. Didn't play for them the next season. 3 games in his final season for MK Dons, and then was signed on a free transfer back to the National League. Now, if we could sign people in this save, I probably would have gone for him on a free transfer. But Fylde are the people that have profited from the MK Dons mistake. £100,000 we got for him, which looks very good value right now, because he is £90,000 is his max value according to our scouts. A really good player. He definitely would have he would be in our first team if he was still at the club. But alas, he's gone. Paul Byrne. He stepped up to the National League. He stepped up to the professional leagues, and MK Dons, I would say, didn't give him much of a chance. 25 years old now, back in the National League. Paul Byrne, yeah, gutted for him. Wayne Harper was our first ever sale. 7.5k we sold him for to Tranmere. Again, he made that step up to the Football League, and he signed for Tranmere in League 2. Played for them a fair bit as well, got a good number of appearances for them, and then went on loan to the National League, came back to Tranmere and played 42 times in the season, 31 times the season after that, then went on loan to Darlington and has signed for Gloucester City in the National League North, and is doing pretty well for them. But yeah, Wayne Harper, another one that came through, we thought it was going to be amazing. 7.5k was put in front of us and I accepted it, and then yeah, he again 24 years old now, playing back in the National League North. Much better than that ability, but you know, we can't re-sign him. And again, if he was still at the club and he had progressed with us and was 24 years old with us now, he would probably be a starting holding midfielder for us alongside Danny Mills. So Dave Mills, I always call him Danny Mills, Dave Mills. But yeah, there you go. He's dropped off as well. And that's pretty much it for noticeable players that have left Guiseley. All the others have been youngsters that have either retired or gone. There's a few spoilers about players that have gone out on loan, the main one being Victor Hervetzi, the goalkeeper. But yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll be back for the next episode, which will be the start of the Football League season. It's not quite... We've played a couple of games, which is why I didn't want to show you anything that could give away where we are and how we're doing. But yeah, we've got a game against Halifax Town coming up in the next episode, the start of Season 11, as we are a professional club in the Football League. The plan is for this season, and we'll see how it goes, is to do the start of the season. We'll come back at around Christmas when we get our youth preview, then come back for the intake, and then come back for the end of the season. And hopefully we'll be having our head above water and staying safe in League 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your questions. As ever, if there's anything else you want to know, you want me to do another Q&A question, always happy to oblige. Get your comments in down below, subscribe, like the video, and we'll be back hopefully very soon with the start of Season 11. But for now, I'm out. Cheers.